Good afternoon, Jefferson Spartan families. It is Mr. Carter, and I want to take a few moments to provide some updates as we enter the month of February. First, as we get started in the month of February, we are relaunching our PBIS system. PBIS stands for Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. Historically, we have used Spartan Bucks to recognize students meeting our expectations, and we are recommitting to that here in the month of February. One item that we want to talk about is the word kindness. At Jefferson Elementary School, we define kindness as always choosing to be nice, caring, and helpful with our words and with our actions to others and to ourselves. Kindness is one of our 4 words at Jefferson Elementary School that we value: kindness, integrity, perseverance, and self-control. As we talk about being kind, it is common that boys and girls get into disagreements at school, and sometimes we're not very kind to one another. And as we talk about that, we want to encourage boys and girls on what they can do if they feel someone is not being kind. So, if somebody comes home in the evening and they share that somebody wasn't kind, there are some questions and some things that I would encourage families to talk about. First of all, what did you do in that situation? So if someone is not kind to us, it is really easy sometimes to do something unkind back. We want to talk about what we can do differently and what we can do to help a situation and not harm a situation. So that question of what did you do in that situation can help us equip children on how to work against someone who is being unkind. We want to treat others the way that we want to be treated. So we want to figure out if somebody is not kind to us, what can we do to help make sure that situation doesn't happen again? My recommendation, we look at them and we begin by saying, you know what? That's not very kind. I don't like it, and please stop. It's simple, but boys and girls do not always do that. We will have times respond in doing something unkind back. So what did you do is the best possible question to respond when somebody mentions we're not being very kind. Number 2, talk to an adult. I can't tell you how many times that we talk about situations where somebody was not kind to someone else and we just didn't share that with an adult who can help us in that situation. So go to the adult that can best help us at that time if somebody is not being kind. Number 2, let's talk about Valentine's Day a little bit. With COVID restrictions, we are not allowed to have the traditional Valentine's Day party. I can't let volunteers and visitors in our building yet to that scope where we have the traditional Valentine's Day party. We are still going to do Valentines. So in grades K through 5, if you or your child want to bring Valentines in, we'll send home those class lists. We would ask that a Valentine be created for all students. And if we are doing Valentines, we would ask that those Valentines be in the building by Tuesday, February 9th. That will allow them to sit and all of the germs to do their things for a few days before we send them home on Friday, February 12th. So if your child would like to do Valentines, more than welcome to do it. Let's have them in the building by Tuesday, February 9th. In terms of parties themselves, we're not doing a big party. We still have to maintain social distancing and contact tracing, which limits what we can have students doing in the classrooms for extended periods of time. However, if you want to arrange with your classroom teacher the idea of sending in a snack of some kind, that's still a very doable thing on Valentine's Day. Reach out to the teacher and ask if this is a need, because we have parents that may already be sending treats. If the snack comes into school, remember, snacks must be pre-packaged and individually wrapped. So it is not something that we can cook and bake ourselves and send into school. We've got to buy something in a store that is pre-packaged and individually wrapped. Again, please reach out to classroom teacher to determine if that need is there. Some other information that we want to share in the month of February. First of all, this one's a little sad for me. I'm sad and excited at the same time. Long-time administrative assistant in our building, Mrs. Stogsdill, is retiring at the end of February. Her final day is going to be February 19th after almost 30 years here at Jefferson Elementary School. So we're celebrating her a little bit in the month of February, but did want to share that information. Mrs. Smith, who is our building secretary, will be shifting into Mrs. Stogsdill's role once that transition takes place. So I just wanted to share and congratulate Mrs. Stogsdill as she is moving on and retiring from Jefferson, and her plans are to spend a lot of time with a brand new grandbaby. So we want to wish her all the best, and we are going to miss her tremendously, but she will always be a Jefferson Spartan. E-learning. I want to highlight e-learning really quickly here. So I'm going to switch screens here, pull up this information. We want to make sure that when we have an e-learning day, all students are accessing the work. That allows us to count a child present for e-learning. We want to make sure you access materials. We want to do our best to try and complete all of the work, but even if we don't complete all of the work, if we access the materials, we are counted present for the day. We have a number of families who are running into situations where they are earning unexcused absences for not accessing material. I want to show you how easy it is to access learning right now. So I have a web browser open and I am at the Warsaw Community Schools website. We even make it easier. On your child's iPad, there is an e-learning button. All you have to do is push that button on the app. So at the Warsaw Community Schools website, we are going to click on e-learning. It'll bring us to all of the schools. We're going to come down here to Jefferson Elementary School. And we're going to click on the Jefferson e-learning page that looks like this. So to show that you have accessed e-learning, right here is a Google form. We scroll down. We type in student first name and last name. We pick the day of e-learning. That's today's date. And we choose our teacher. And then we scroll all the way down and hit submit. This right here demonstrated we accessed e-learning. Your child will be counted present for the day because they demonstrated they had accessed the e-learning materials. Again, tutorial on e-learning, if you need it, right here, it'll walk you through this process. And then I'm going to come down here and access my child's e-learning. When I click on that link, it takes me exactly to where I need to access e-learning materials and days. If you ever have any questions about e-learning, don't hesitate. Send an email to the school, send an email to your teacher, and we can help you with that. Let's not rack up unexcused absences. Access the materials. Turn in that attendance sheet, and you are counted present for the day, and then you can work through the e-learning process. Just a reminder, you have 3 days to turn in e-learning from the day of the e-learning. All right, couple of final thoughts and final things that we're looking at. Number one, for PPE related materials in our COVID-19, we are struggling a little bit on masks. What I mean by that is we're struggling as time has moved on. That commitment to have masks every day and to be wearing them properly is beginning to fade a little bit. And we don't want to let down our guard just yet in regards to COVID-19. It is critical that boys and girls have a mask as they enter our building every single day. Please double check each morning before your child leaves that they do have a mask. It can be stored in the backpack. When they come home from school, take that mask off, store it in the backpack. That way, when we come back to school, we always have our masks. And then we always want that commitment when we are wearing our masks. And remember, we wear masks all over in the building. If we're not in our classroom, sitting 3 feet apart in a forward-facing row, we have a mask on, with rare exception. That mask is over our face all the way and above our nose. It is really common that as students are walking up and down the hallway, that mask falls beneath our nose. And if it's beneath our nose, it's really not preventing those germs from moving out of our bodies, and it's not preventing us from bringing germs into the bodies. I know that there are many different viewpoints on if masks help or if masks hurt, but at Jefferson Elementary School, we are committed to all students wearing masks throughout the instructional day where we consider that it's a potentially high-risk area. So please help me with that as we continue through the remainder of our school year. Snow pants. It is winter time, and we have definitely snow on the ground right now. And we do want to remind for boys and girls to go off of our blacktop and sidewalk areas in grades K through 4, they need boots and snow pants. We use about the coating to 1 inch line to determine whether or not those are necessary. Once we start getting below 1 inch of snow and the sun starts to melt that snow off, there are times we'll let students go outside when there is still a little bit of snow on the ground. But if we've got more than a coating, more than the ground, just being covered, we're going to request that snow pants and boots are necessary to be off sidewalks. So please remember, a lot of times because we're limited on space, we'll go to an alternate recess schedule where students are 15 minutes in and 15 minutes out. But if there is more than a coating of inch on the ground, we do require that for students to play in snow. Please also help me help your children remember that we do not pick up and throw snow for any reason while we're at school. And then finally, in regards to snow and winter weather, we go outside as long as the wind chill is 20 degrees or above. So we need to be prepared and dressed for that weather. This time of year, students need coats, hats, gloves, and anything else that keeps them warm. So I appreciate your help in making sure that happens. And that is all of the updates and announcements that I have to share here for the month of February. Again, thanks so much for being a part of your children's education, being a part of our school, even in this world of COVID and all of the safety protocols that we have to put in place here. We love your children, and thank you for sharing them with us day in and day out. Hope everybody has a good evening.